It's a mean age. I swear to God, I got to move the button for it's like I hit one millimeter off and I play the wrong intro instead of Mean Wars.
Well, because of that snafu, you're going to edit it now.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I don't edit shit. I'll post it. I don't edit my own episodes. If anybody thinks I've ever edited a single episode of my podcast, they are mistaken. Not
when I mean
one.
edit, I mean cut off the very beginning where you had the wrong music.
I'm not doing that either. Fuck that. These people can just sit there in confusion. What do I care?
Yeah.
They don't pay that. They don't pay us for this. This is free content, man. What do I have, a fucking zit coming down my head? That's a good look. Anyway, we're here with Meme Wars. John's got a nice cop stash going.
I think my brother-in-law summed it up best. It's either I look like I'm about to arrest people for selling drugs or sell drugs.
Right, yeah. Or fuck another man. That's the third option that clearly is on the table.
I don't know about that one, but yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit of porn stash going there. It's maybe a little tighter. You kind of look like the lead singer for Queen back when he had a mustache.
I should go with the full Hitler, just right in front.
Yeah.
Right there.
Or maybe pencil thin like Vincent Price and just go around and go, hello.
Yeah. Well, I'll never have a Kibbe stash. That would take me years to get to that if I ever get there.
Way too much time, way too much effort, way too much mustache wax. The amount of money he must spend on mustache wax, either that or just snot. I don't know if he just pulls snot into it. Save a little cash.
I doubt it. I do wonder if there's days he doesn't, do the mustache and just lets it to go out.
Yeah. It's like
or
anytime it's allergy season.
Like brushing your teeth. He gets up first thing, mustache.
Well, it's like, the Kibbies have cats. They have 2 or 3 cats. Maybe Matt Kibbe is allergic to cats and he just lets his nose run from the cat allergies. And that's straight into the mustache.
You're really focusing on the snot mucus end of this.
I think it makes a lot of sense, man.
I tried to take you away from it, but you can't.
No, I have my priorities straight as far as what I want to what do I want to discuss on this program today. Well, do you want to talk quick about Trump's indictment stuff?
Yeah, we can talk about it. I mean, it's probably the wrong outlook on it, but I'm just not interested at all. I've reached the point because he's been indicted for so much stuff, and there's so many different investigations, and there's been so many investigations, and I just don't care. They've passed the point of me even looking into this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people feel that way. I swear to God, other than these hardcore, Michael Rappaport, dipshit leftists that are just, physically erect from the indictment and they're going to get him this time. They're not going to get him. They're not going to get him. Even if there was something there, which is very dubious, what's pissing me off is I had posted about, the indictments, and everybody has the same response that doesn't like Trump. And it just comes down to not liking Trump, whether or not you think this is a violation of First Amendment, where do you think because to me, I read the indictments. It still comes down to, if he believed that the election was rigged, he can speak out about it. He can try to convince people to do whatever they're going to do. And if they don't do it, then they don't do it. They can tell him, hey, we don't think this is rigged. And he can not believe them. That's what it fucking comes down to, man. And I don't see how they're going to convict him on this shit. But all these assholes keep going, read the indictment. I'm like, there's nothing in that fucking indictment that's concrete in any way that says that he should be, thrown into jail for conspiracy. And it's a fucking ridiculous premise to set.
Yeah, well, there was one interesting part that I saw Scott Adams talk about where essentially, like you were just saying there, they are hinging this indictment on him somehow knowing for a fact that the election was 100%, not rigged. It was no funny business going on, no ballot stuffing, any of that. So they got to prove that it's not rigged, right? Isn't that how it works with the law? So they would have to go and prove somehow, which is impossible.
You have to. How are you
if this thing ended up going to trial, they would prove they're not going to prove that the election was rigged or not, I don't think, but they will prove that it easily could be. Like,
right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, that's what somebody was talking about, how from his side of things, doing all this investigation, doing like the, what do they call it? There's a word for it I'm blanking on right now, but, before the trial, all the pulling of data and pulling of evidence, far more could come out about how Donald Trump had a point than was going to come out about how he didn't. And even regardless, even if you can say definitively this election wasn't rigged, how can you prove that Donald Trump definitively knew that, believed it, and then fought against it? But even beyond that, to me, if you're fighting to win an election, and unless you completely committed illegal acts, aka Donald Trump going in and threatening somebody's life or altering, the ballots himself, I don't see what concrete criminal acts can be here. So instead of the government saying, well, it was a conspiracy, it's a conspiracy against the government, which in my mind, I'm sorry, the government can say anything is a fucking conspiracy against the government, which is why I object to the precedent being set here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's an affront to free speech. I don't like Donald Trump. I'm really getting to the point that I'm sick of him. Like, I don't want him to be president. I don't want Joe Biden to be president. I mean, I don't want Gavin Newsom to be president. That's for sure. But honestly, out of almost all the other people, other than who's that Warhawk, the woman from South Carolina? I can't stand her. Nikki Haley.
Oh yeah.
On the Democrat side, RFK, sure, I'll take him as president. Even Marianne Crazy Williamson, put her in there, whatever. It'll be funny. It'll be fun, be entertaining. Yeah. Republican side, DeSantis, I'm okay with. I'm okay with Vivek, even though he's a little bit insane on bombing the Mexican drug cartels, but I don't think that would actually happen, so I kind of just don't focus on that anymore.
I mean, Tim Scott, I'd be okay with it. He's terrible in Ukraine. I like on some other
Pence.
issues.
Yeah, Pence would be horrible. Pence is probably one of the worst candidates I've ever seen.
Awful. He is completely fucking dead. Like, I don't know who's advising Pence on his, what to say, but his appearance with Tucker Carlson, where he was like, "It's not my concern about the United States. My concern is giving tanks to Ukraine." Essentially, that was unbelievable. And then he follows that up by just basically ostracizing every Donald Trump voter out there by, just like throwing Donald Trump completely under the bus with this indictment. I don't know what they're thinking. It's mind-boggling.
Pence is trying to channel his inner Mitt Romney, and he thinks that's going to work because it works so well for Romney, I guess. But
he doesn't have the hair. He doesn't have the hair. He doesn't have the smile. He doesn't have the Mormon cult behind him. Pence should become a Mormon. That's the idea.
Why not? He's in Indiana. Are there many Mormons in Indiana? I don't know.
There's got to be
everywhere.
Some under rocks. We'll flip over rocks. Isn't that where Spangle lives? We'll have Spangle to investigate. Spangle, go look for Morons if you're watching.
Spangle loves Mike Pence. It's his favorite politician.
Please tell me you're joking.
He hates him.
Spangle's got some weird opinions sometimes. All right, anyway. Anything else to add, or should we jump into these memes? Because I've got an Indian buffet waiting for me.
Well, let's jump into it. And I'm just going to start with a non-political meme, but it might trigger our female audience. And honestly,
I love doing that.
I think sometimes you need to do that every once in a while. Just stir up the 5 females that watch this podcast. So if you remember our plane lady who incredibly, I don't know how it's possible, has not been found. The lady on the plane who was the blonde chick who was pointing saying, "That motherfucker is not real." Yeah. Still haven't found her. Nobody's saying to her.
By the way, I would do her. She is attractive and I would have sex with her. On the record,
she's not unattractive. That's for sure. I've seen people saying she's fat. That's absurd.
No, she's totally not. She looks like a CrossFit chick. She's got like a little bit of muscle to her. Her belly's not sticking out. She looks like she's pretty toit.
The meme is, her pointing right when she's saying he's not real, and then you have her pointing at curbs in a parking space. What do they call those things?
Yeah, the parking space. Like, I don't even know, bumper to stop bumpers you from rolling or whatever.
And then
space.
A couple pictures of curbs. Obviously saying women cannot drive, women cannot see curbs. I've experienced this my entire life, dude, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
It is uncanny. That's why I was laughing so hard at this. It's the perfect meme in every way. When I'm riding in the car with my wife, I would say every single time she is driving, she turns a corner and fucking bumps the curb or ramps the curb. It happens every single time in the car with her. And she knows it's coming. She just laughs because she knows that I'm going to say something like, "Did you not see it? Maybe take a wider turn next time." Like it's fucking uncanny. No, they have no spatial awareness. These women.
No, I don't even like. I'm used to hitting the curbs now. Sure, I'm a little concerned we're getting a flat tire, but what I'm more concerned about is when my wife is driving and it's like a really narrow 2-lane road.
Yeah.
And she's like right on the very edge of the road. I'm like, there's a drop off there. We're pretty close to it. Might want to scooch over a bit towards the middle line.
She cares not for your worries. Well, I've got one from one of our female listeners. She posts a lot of memes because I think she moved into literally the middle of nowhere, and now just posts memes all day. Vanessa Chase, friend of the show, she posted this one and tagged me. She said she was thinking about me. And it is a funny post of the writer's strike, and it's a image of a soldier on fire, bleeding, protecting a sleeping child. And it says writer's strike over his body, and what's coming in, all the barbs and arrows and grenades and knives that he's protecting the child from. It says SNL skit about Barbieheimer, SNL skit about OceanGate, weekly SNL skit about Elon Musk and Twitter, SNL skit about Colleen Ballinger. Just like it is the bright side to the writer's strike is that we are not submitted to the shittiest fucking comedic sketches that Saturday Night Live can come up with.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I was actually just thinking about that today. Like, is there going to be a point in time where maybe we realize we don't need these writers, and there's so many independent content creators and comedians are still going on doing their thing. They don't need writers that write their own shit.
I mean, you always need the highest level talent. The problem is that the highest level talent now has been so eroded by essentially affirmative action within Hollywood, where they're not hiring the best writers anymore. They're hiring literally quotas, just like it everywhere else. So you're getting shittier and shittier writing staffs on all these shows because of it.
You should cross the picket lines as a scab and be a writer.
I should. And then never work again in the town. I'll be one glorious hour. Thanks for that joke, Brian. And blackballed.
Did I ever tell you my story about crossing the picket line?
No. Were you on the? I presume you were on the side of the picketers.
I was on the scab side.
Oh, nice.
So when I worked in the steel framing business right out of college as a management trainee. I was working down in Georgia, but our plant up in what's it called? It was near the city in Michigan. That's the most in Michigan. That's the most dangerous city. It was right next to that. Whatever. It's one of those small shitty Detroit towns.
Lansing.
Whatever. No, not that. Hammond. I think it was Hammond. Hammond, Indiana. So right outside that.
I think
area.
you said it was in Michigan.
Anyway. Well, Hammond is right there by Detroit, I believe. I don't know. It's been a while. Anyway, the important part of the story is, so what they would do is while the strike was happening, they would just rotate and bring in, people like in my role, just to go operate the plant. So the funny part about it is like a lot of this stuff we had never done before, like running these different machines and all this crap.
That seems safe.
Well, it was safe. I mean, we're wearing safety stuff and following safety procedures and stuff. It was very safe. But the funny part was, once we did cross the picket line, and I'll tell you about what happened when we crossed it in a minute, but our output was better than the normal union workers every single day. We were like breaking records.
No shit. Yeah, because unions are fucking lazy as shit. They get these massive, mandated breaks. They're lazy because they know you can't fire them because the union will cause a shit fit. Yeah, no. It's the least surprising thing they've ever heard in my entire life.
But the imprint I will never forget, the visual memory that I have is going in. It was like me and 3 other dudes in this little rental car going across this picket line, and these union workers surround the car at a red light. They're like looking at us. It was like out of a movie, like trying to make eye contact. They're spitting on the car. I'm like, what is that? These are grown men with families and children. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now?
They're protecting their family's income, John. So you guys just stare straight ahead and turn the music up?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't look them in the eye. They might have stolen my soul or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
All right, you got another meme for me?
Yeah, I got a good old Janet Yellen meme. Grandpa Grandma Yellen, as I like to call her. Son of a bitch. Hit the wrong
every
one.
time.
There she is. Every time. Never fails. Never fails.
All right, let's hear what this old dad has to
World's
say.
largest, most dynamic, and most innovative economy.
So she's speaking to the downgrading of the U.S. debt. And if you can read, I don't know if you can read before I play this, the comment here. This is Spike Cohen post. Janet Yellen, U.S. Treasury Secretary, were 30, this is her, Spike, saying, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm drawing a total blank right now. Paraphrasing what Janet Yellen is saying. We're $32 trillion in debt and plan to add 20 trillion to that debt over the next 10 years. We have no plan to ever pay down that debt. And Fitch, which is the rating service, paraphrasing, okay, well, then we're going to downgrade your credit score. And this is how Janet Yellen responds.
With the strongest financial system in the world. Fitch's decision is puzzling in light of the economic strength we see in the United States. I strongly disagree with Fitch's decision, and I believe it is entirely unwarranted.
I mean, aside from her sounding like she's about to die, which is
seriously
common theme with all of our political class, which is getting to the point of just total absurdity.
I thought she was going to McConnell out there for a minute.
It's like, why are they surprised? You can't just keep spending money forever and ever and ever. I mean, there's the common libertarian talking point, if this was a household with a credit card and you just kept spending more money and went into tens of thousands, 100,000s of credit card debt, your credit rating would go down. It would go down a bit, quite a bit. You wouldn't be able to buy cars or anything, really. Why would we expect anything differently? And for all the idiots out there, and Biden's, speaking to his Bidenomics now, that's his new tagline, which is
I know.
Retarded. Life is so much worse. I shouldn't say life. I could say personal economics. I think for everyone with a brain, they can recognize that when you go to the grocery store, you're paying a heck of a lot more than you were in 2019 before the pandemic, before all this stuff. Some of that's short. It's Trump's fault. But Biden has done zero to help in that, to aid in that. He just points to, look at all these jobs I created, the same jobs that were taken away by the government during the lockdowns. So the whole situation is just so completely insane.
Yeah, the whole jobs thing pisses me off so badly because all it is people returning to the workforce, and it's still massively understaffed. There's still so many more jobs that should be filled, but people, because they got paid out the ass to do nothing by the government to the tunes of, actually more than they were making. And this is, I think I told you this with my sister who runs a bar in New York, couldn't get bartenders because they were getting paid more not to work. And people they didn't have to pay rent for a year. So all these people do was sit on their fucking asses, accrue money, and then why would they go back to work all of a sudden? So now they're forced to go back to work because they finally burned through all the money the fucking government gave them. So, yeah, ridiculous. But also, it's one of those things too, the whole Fitch downgraded credit. They had said they downgraded because of the budget impasse. They like, there's lower tax revenues and the budget impasse. Like, give me a fucking break. Neither of these
I heard they also cited January 6th
to do anything.
They also cited, I haven't seen that though. I saw that in a tweet. But.
Stupid. All right, next one I will share. This is a good one. Jason Carrier had sent this to me. I'll give him a shout out. Pretty funny. It is originally from, I don't know, Tim for Senate, but who knows really. But it's got Biden saying into the cell phone, put him on the phone. I want to talk about the weather. And then Hunter Biden says, you want to talk about the weather? And then Joe Biden responds, yeah, whether they got our fucking money or not. Because, of course, the Democrats had claimed that Joe Biden was simply on these calls with all of Hunter Biden's associates talking about the weather and never business. But the point fucking is, if you can get Joe Biden on the goddamn call, then obviously you can prove you can get access to him. And thus, that is the entire point.
Yeah, the one Democrat who was in the hearings with Hunter Biden's partner, he's like, yeah, release these transcripts. There's nothing there. Sure, yeah, it talks about him taking phone calls at all of these dinners and meetings that Hunter Biden was at. But it doesn't change anything that Joe has said that he was never involved in the business, and this is going to show that. So it should be released. And I mean, have you ever like when you're? I mean, not ever. I'm sure you've done it before, but is it like a common practice when you're out to dinner with like friends, hanging out at a bar with friends, that you just call your dad up and say, "Hey, Dad, talk to my friend you've never met before. Can you talk to him?"
Hey, can you just tell him about your day? He loves that. Fucking stupid. Next.
Yeah, next one I have. This is not political at all. Just hilarious. I guess that's a theme for today. So this is a little video. You're going to hear the video in a second here. Jaden has $1 bill, 1 quarter, and 2 pennies. How much money does Jaden have? God damn it.
Sound, Odie.
Thing is always down below the...
I know.
How much money does he have? Jaden broke.
That's what you shared. That's what you brought to Meme Wars today, Odie.
I love it. Well, you missed the beginning part, but it's I thought it was a great video.
Absolutely.
Made me laugh. I feel like laughing today, and
this will make you laugh. This is slightly political. It'll make you laugh. So essentially, this is from the philosopher who was at Porkfest. I think I met her briefly at Porkfest. Maybe I waved at her.
I think it's actually the pho.
Oh, you're right. The philosopher. Yeah, because she is of the Korean descent. Yeah. Or maybe she's Chinese. I don't know. But, you know, she's got the pho in her name. So it says, girls at a first date. It's got the little blonde to the left. I hope he has a steady job. And then a little gothy chick on the right. I hope he doesn't live with his mom. Guys on a first date. I hope she shows up. And then, of course, the other one. I hope she isn't a man.
Yeah, that's so crazy. But that's... I think that's a real concern. I mean, you have to...
Has to be.
Sure, you could probably tell 95% of the time. But, you know, one of those 5% of the time sneaks by you. You end up in a pretty awkward situation.
Well, dude, think about how many... Like, this is what I want to know. With catfishing and everything. And like, you can use AI to pretty your... If you're a man pretending to be a chick, you can get AI to pretty yourself up and smooth out those finer points to look like a better looking chick. And also, have you seen like the latest AI chicks they're creating? Like even with video now, with like full AI videos of super hot chicks bouncing around in bikinis that are like getting paid. Like idiot men are giving the money. So if you're on a date, what's to say that it's not just some AI chick that's created? Then you show up and it's like, hey, bro.
Well, this is why the Instagram thirst traps need to form a union to protect themselves from these AI thirst traps.
There you go.
Otherwise,
and then
out of business.
the AI scabs crossing the virtual picket lines.
It's just a fat guy with a big beer gut in his basement making AI thoughts.
No, totally. It's what it is. It's not even a question. All right. Anything else?
Yeah. Last one here. So I don't know if you've seen any of these recent commercials. We stream our live TV through Fubo or whatever, however you say it. Mostly watch sports and stuff, but some other stuff. And the ads I've been seeing consistently, like they're sometimes just repeated after each other. Like for a commercial break, just 3 in a row. Climate change ads from this like group called the like Mothers for Change or something. And they're just so absurd. They like show footage of like floods and wildfires, and they bring on these, female doctors who say, well, I used to be concerned about the individual event of the wildfire, but now I'm concerned about what's really the root cause, and, play the dark and
the root cause of wildfires is fucking never climate change, by the way. Never has been,
always
never
arson.
will be.
It's mostly a liberal burning
or a
something.
Fallen, yep, or a homeless or a fallen power line. It's never fucking wildfire from climate change, ever.
But I think Jimmy Dore has a good point here. I mean, and I'll just play what he's going to say, then we can talk about it. God damn it.
There's no turning back climate change. You know how I know? We just built 3 more new military bases. The people who claim to care about climate change keep building military bases, and you keep voting for them. So there ain't nothing that's going to stop climate change because we ain't doing anything. And the people who can do something aren't. And the people who claim that we should be the one eating bugs and not having farmed food and drive electric cars, they're all flying around in jets. I'm not saying that climate change is.
Yeah, I mean, I've after seeing all these freaking commercials, that was on my mind. Then I saw this, but really, I don't see how we do stop this. And I think the writing's on the wall that they're going to do some sort of. I don't know if it'll be, at least initially, like a COVID style lockdown, but I could see like curfews, cities doing that. Like you
Yeah,
can't,
yeah.
unless you have an electric vehicle, you can't be on the road from 9 until 6 a.m. Like I could see them starting with some absurd stuff like that pretty quickly
Totally.
in the near term.
Totally. I could see that. I can see, this is why CBDCs are such an evil. I could see them restricting the access to the power grid for certain hours during the day. I could see them, as I said, restricting fuel purchasing. I can see them mandating that you, for instance, like you can't use your stove during, except for certain hours for the day. Like all these things are definitely possible.
Yeah.
And especially when you see like what's coming out of the WEF, where they're, like Klaus Schwab's stupid ass daughter was saying, like pandemic or COVID lockdown, not COVID, sorry, climate lockdowns are coming. Get used to it. You also have, God, there's somebody just, in California, the LA Times floated the idea of just having blackouts during the day. Just like, we'll just have heat blackouts because that'll help fight climate change, which it won't. And also it'll kill a bunch of people. Like all the time, just kills people.
Whatever happened to if it saves one life? I guess, no, it's now if we save the planet. Planet's more important than lives. All of these peasants out there. Got to save the planet.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll go on record saying, even if climate change is real, the climate's always changing. It's fucking idiotic. As I always point this out, Pangea was a thing, right? The Earth used to be one big clump called Pangea, and it broke up in all these continents. What the fuck caused that? Was it air conditioning? Did Bill and Ted go back in time and create, whatever, a coal-powered plant and broke up fucking Pangea? No. This is a stupid conversation. And to Jimmy Dore's point, if it was a problem, we would solve it. Because that's what humans do. We'd figure it out. If it was a real threat, it's not. Period. That's it.
Yeah. And if it is a real threat, then why are politicians like Barack Obama buying oceanfront property?
Yep.
So
it'll be, trust me, if it was a real threat, there would be such a marketplace for curing that threat rather than this bullshit they're trying to do now, that it would be where all the money went to. Be the new bubble. We'd all get rich investing in it, but it's not real. So that's why there's no money going into it. Except in bullshit cures, like the Al Gore cure and climate funds and whatever else it might be. The research. That's where the money's at.
100% agree. You got anything else?
Just this. Goodbye!